35mm film and a Nikon F-301 35mm film camera. What could this mean? Is Ben going analog? Well, yeah, sort of. If you've been following me on social media, you'll know that I got given this camera by my dad. In fact, I was really stoked when he gave it to me because I used to have one of these, and it's sort of what started my photography journey. But I sold mine when I switched over to digital, and the reason I bought this, I bought mine at Cash Converters, was because Dad had one. Anyway, a few months ago I was at Mum and Dad's, and Dad said, "Do you want my old Nikon F-301? I said I'd love it. So he gave it to me, super excited, ran down the shop, got some AAA batteries. This one takes 4 AAAs. And that's probably one of the key things with this camera, is that it was the first Nikon camera to have auto winding. It's all manual otherwise, manual focus, but it has an auto wind feature. So when you take a photo, it winds on the next frame for you automatically. So I went and put 4 new batteries in, and to my horror, it was all corroded inside, and because Dad had accidentally left some batteries in it, and yeah, it wasn't working at all. So I thought, you know what, I'll just stick it on the shelf and just keep it as a bit of a keepsake. And then one night I thought, what have I got to lose? Let's open it up and have a look. And I actually had to drill it out and get inside there, clean it all out with cleaning alcohol. But I MacGyvered up a couple of little new electrical connections to the battery tray, cleaned the battery tray out, and I got it working. So I've ordered myself some Kodak Gold 200. This is a really good daytime film. It's a cheap consumer grade film. Although they're now making them 120 rolls as well, and a lot of more professional photographers are using it. It renders colours really nicely. So the goal today is not really to go out there and get any award-winning shots. I'm just going to put a couple of rolls through this camera. I'm going to do one at the ISO, the box ISO, which is 200, and then I might do another roll at ISO 160, and or maybe some shots at ISO 160 and some at ISO 100, because I know you can push this film a little bit. I'm not sure how the metering in this camera is going to work. It has got a spot meter in there, or a center weighted spot meter. So I will also take my other light meter with me that I know and trust, and we'll go out and we'll shoot some images and just see what we end up with. All right, shot number 1 is a spot that I quite often take a photo with my phone if I go for a walk in the morning. It's a beautiful spot, and it's just got a really nice outlook. So I'm going to use this as the first spot, which is sort of looking down this beach. As you can see, it's called Bagnall's Beach near my house. But there's a couple of beautiful trees here that sort of frame it up. So this will be the very first shot with the F-301, which is right here. I'm yet to take the lens cap off and sort of get it set up, but I'm going to do that very short. I'm just trying to remember. I think this is the composition that I would like. It's got a lot of shadow and a lot of light, so we're going to try that and see what happens. All right, let's set up and get it done. All right, so just trying to get things set up here for this first shot, and leave the short lookers on. So I'm at f8. I've put the setting on to DX. Now with these cameras, there was a time when film came out with a DX rating, which meant there was some sensors or some connectors inside where the film roll goes, and the camera automatically detects what ISO your film is, so you don't have to muck around with changing settings. And then what we're going to do is just going to have to do some light metering. I thought what I'll do is just see what the camera says. I'm just not sure if it works with it in the lock position, or if I've actually got to unlock it. Yeah, which makes me nervous. I've actually got to unlock it. I've got an aperture priority. I'm going to half depress, so it's telling me 1/500th of a second. And right now, it's not even in focus, so a fair bit of work here to do. So let's just play with the focus first. And it's got this weird little focusing prism thing inside there that helps you focus. Really nice little composition. The lens is not as wide as I would like to shoot from this particular location, but let's do that. So I've got it at f8. It's in aperture priority, so it's going to shoot, I believe it's going to shoot at 1/500th of a second for me, which is good. Let's just check that with my other meter now, because I just want to see how it's metering. I do have a light meter that I use with my Fuji camera. So I need to get the ISO set to the right ISO. I need to get ISO 200. Come on, there we go. And then I'm going to go to F8. Yeah, F8, and it's giving me 500th of a, it's giving me 500. So the shadows are 2/50th. The rest is 1/500. So 500 should be fine. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to trust the camera's inbuilt metering, and we'll just see how it goes. So this is the very first shot. I want a little bit of foreground. I want the beach as well. It's a 50mm camera. A few people on the beach with their dogs. There's a pelican down in the water there. I feel nervous doing this. There we go. That was the first shot. Now, I'm wondering if I should do one in portrait. I think I will as well, just to see how we go. Do one like that. Wait for these people. There's a whole bunch of people on the beach that if I wait for them to come down a bit further, they'll get out of my shot, which would be kind of cool. Very exciting, you know. You know, I actually love not being able to see the photo and having that anticipation of knowing that, you know, I'm going to get to see the photo somewhere down the track. Just waiting for those people to get out of my shot. Nearly there. Yeah, there we go. A little bit further. I don't mind people in my shot sometimes, but there's somebody walking back up the beach the other way, so I'll wait for her to get a little bit up with her dog. The others sort of were a bit of a messy group of people. She's sort of, oh, the dog's gone out of frame. That's all right, let's shoot that. All right. The other thing that I can see is that the film is definitely advancing. So that's the other thing, sometimes a film can slip and you can actually not have your film rolling on as you take photos, but that is definitely working. So I'm going to lock that off now. So that's my first two shots with the F-301. Interesting. So I'm not going to show you every single shot. I'll show you a few more that we do. But yeah, let's have a look and see how we go. Once I get the film back and scanned, I'll take you through all of the images and share with you how it went and what my thoughts are on it. Alrighty, well I find myself down at the beach now. There is some stuff down here. There's a couple of trees that I know sort of on the beach with their roots exposed. It's high tide, so I'm just going to try and capture those and see how that works out today. With a bit of luck. Hopefully that wind's not annoying you too much in the microphone. But yeah, just only done a couple of shots so far. Still getting comfortable with the whole film experience, that's for sure. All right, just trying some different things here. I'm going to go to F16 and see if I can get a really good depth of field, because that tree is actually quite close to me. It's still giving me a good fast shutter speed, so it should be fine. Just waiting for the waves to be in the right spot, because I created a leading line with the foam from the wave, so hopefully that worked out nicely. And I think I'll do one in portrait as well, just of this tree. I really like it. It's again giving me a really nice fast shutter speed. Just waiting for that water to be where I want it to be. So it's up behind there. There we go. That's a nice one. There we go. Couple more shots, aperture priority. ISO 200, no real choice about that unless I want to change and push or pull the film by overexposing it or underexposing it. Underexposing with film is not like with digital, it's a big risk because you'll end up with a situation with muddiness in your image. It doesn't like to be underexposed. With digital you can underexpose and of course push the shadows up, but with film you can't do that. So you're better off erring on the side of caution if you're not sure about your exposure. Anyway, I'm sure about that one. We'll see how we go. All right, well that is, how many shots have we done? Let's have a look. 17 shots, so I've still got a few to go, but it's going well, if I do say so myself. Really enjoying it. What I'm loving is the fact that I can't see the images, so I've got this excitement of knowing that at some point I'm going to get these developed and I'm going to get to see what I got, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to keep shooting, and I might head into town now, do a little bit of street photography in town, and then, like I said, I'll get these developed in the lab and I'll share them with you. We'll go through them and just see what I captured. Well, I don't know if you've ever shot film, but the most exciting time is when the lab sends you an email to say your scans are ready for download, and that's exactly what's happened. So I've gone through the photos, really wrapped that this camera is working. The second roll of film is still in the camera. I haven't finished it yet, but knowing that the camera is working well, the metering inside of the light meter inside of the camera also works very accurately. I can confidently now just go and buy a few other bits and pieces. So I've ordered some more film. I've ordered some Portra 400, some Ektar 100, so I can have a bit of a play around with the different films inside of this Nikon F-301. Also went and found myself another camera body. This is the F-501, very, very similar, a little bit more automation, but this one actually doesn't work, but it is the exact same body. So what I want to do is part it out for the bottom. I don't know if you remember at the beginning of the video, I mentioned how I had to sort of fix the battery compartment. I'm just not sure how long that is going to last. So I was looking for one that wasn't working or that was cheap. And it just so happens that I've also managed to pick up a 28mm f2.8 lens as well. So a bit of a bonus there, because now I've got a nice wide angle lens. I've got the 50mm lens. I know the camera works, and you know, there's nothing like a bit of film photography. It's actually quite different looking, and I sort of forgot how different film looked. And you know, it gives it a whole different feeling or emotion. And so what I'm going to do is we'll go through some of these images with you now, including the very first shot that I took, and show you exactly what I was able to capture with the F-301. Yeah, fantastic camera. So let's start off with the very first image. This was the one that you know, I was probably most anxious about, because obviously I'm not knowing whether the camera was going to work or not. But you can definitely see here that the camera's done really well. So I had it all on auto exposure. I was letting the camera decide the settings. It was in aperture priority, and it was entirely up to the camera. I didn't even try and expose for the shadows. I just wanted to see what the camera would do. You can see how well it has been exposed. You can see that the shadows, there's still detail here in the shadows. I have bumped that up a little bit in post-processing, and I was quite surprised to see how well that actually responded to that, because typically if you underexpose on film, there's no way you can bring it up. You'll just get very muddiness sort of look, but it's done really, really well. So that was good for the very first shot out of the Nikon F-301, my dad's old camera. It works, which was great. If we have a look then, that's the same spot, but it's a portrait composition. And just as I go through these, I'm not going to go and into detail too much on each one, but I was just really impressed with the quality of film, the warmness out of this Kodak C200. This particular one, I did no changing of anything in the colors. I just thought I would leave it. This one here, I bumped the shadows up. You can see how well it managed that. You know, and just all these different shots. You can see how warm that one is, you know, when you look at how warm the trees are. And I mean, and that has got the morning sun on it. This is about mid-morning, so it's probably maybe 10:30 in the morning. This is then a nice white sort of building. I really like this shot. Actually, this is probably my favorite shot out of them all. So I think I might print this one up and keep this one as a bit of a keepsake from that very first roll of film. And you know, I just played around with these pelicans for a little bit. They were a bit of fun, and until somebody rocked up with some fishing, I guess, fish waste from their fishing trip, and the pelicans all ran off across the car park. But yeah, but great subjects, and of course the trendy little beach hut that was behind them. And then there's this little jetty. I thought I'd just sort of shoot with this, just because I wanted to see how sharp the print would come up here. As you can see, it's actually captured it pretty good. I mean, 35mm film is no different to full frame, and these are low-res scans, so it'll be interesting to see once I get the negatives back and I use my own scanner to do some high-res scans. Also, although I've got a flatbed scanner and it doesn't do the best of jobs on 35mm film. But there you go, yeah, but it absolutely worked. And, you know, the colours were really good. It was just a lot of fun. So I suggest that if you want to get into this, then this is a good way to do it. Now, if you're looking to get into film photography, there has definitely been an increase in the price of secondhand film cameras, and that is because it is increased in popularity. So I'm going to suggest to you that if you're looking to start out, this particular model, although I got it passed down from my dad, you can buy these I mean, really cheaply, and I've seen them for 150 to 160 Australian dollars on eBay with a 50mm 1.8 lens, and that gives you a bit of an introduction into the film world. Just make sure you ask to check the battery compartment, because like I said, I think it's a common issue with any of these that took the AAA batteries, was that if the AAA batteries were left in the bottom compartment to expire, they would corrode, it would leak out into the electronics and corrode things, and that would render the camera pretty much useless unless you're confident in pulling something apart. And like I said, I had to drill out screws and sort of get in there and clean it out, and there was no guarantee I was going to get it working. I think I was quite lucky that I got it working. But if you wanted to try film photography and get in at a nice entry-level price where you're not going to spend too much money, you could pick yourself up one of these with a 50mm lens for under $200. Grab yourself some Kodak Gold 200, pretty cheap per roll, and go out and have some fun, and you'll soon see whether or not film photography is something that you might enjoy. There you have it. So if you've enjoyed this and you were thinking about film photography yourself, I can highly recommend the Nikon 301 or the N2000 if you're in the US, or you might be buying an old US model. It's a really good sort of entry-level film camera. You can pick them up relatively cheap compared to some of the prices you'll see on film gear these days. One of the things that's happened, particularly through the last couple of years, is we've seen the resurgence of film shooting, and what that has meant is that some of the SLRs that are a bit older and a little bit more iconic, are attracting some pretty big dollars. I've seen some go for ridiculous money, And so if you want to just get a bit of a start into film photography and try it for yourself, the F-301 is a great camera. It's got enough automation on it to make it really easy. I mean, this one's pretty much fully automatic except for the focus, so you just got to manually focus it, but the rest you can just leave it on an aperture priority type mode and you can shoot away, and as long as the light meter is working, and that would be my only thing, is just make sure you try and test the camera. Just check to see if the light meter is working. Check the battery compartment underneath to make sure that the batteries haven't been left in there to corrode, because obviously that causes a big issue. And then grab yourself some cheap consumer grade film like the Kodak Gold C200, or maybe a black and white film, and have a bit of a go for yourself. It's definitely a fun way to get back into film photography, and it's a fun way just to do photography in a different way. Anyone and everybody can shoot digital these days. Everyone's phone's got a digital camera in it, but film is something that is still very, very unique. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and of course, until next time, I hope you get out there and make some images. See ya.